Alrighty, so today we are going to be talking about two people that, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that are like the antithesis of what I really disagree with in the health space, the weight loss space, the fat acceptance space, that kind of area, right? So we're going to be first talking about Gwyneth Paltrow, who, if you are not familiar with what she does online, she's like a super famous movie star. She was in like Iron Man and a bunch of other stuff, but she also owns this company called Goop, which is just like probably the like most quintessential wellness, like hippy dippy, over the top, like just unnecessary BS, like wellness stuff that's out there, right? And so Gwyneth Paltrow, and then the other person we're going to be talking about is Tess Holliday, who I'm sure most of you know how I feel about Tess, but she is like the poster child for fat acceptance or health at every size, and you know how I feel about that. And so recently, Gwyneth was actually on a podcast or something like that. I mean, there's a million podcasts now, but she was on some sort of podcast where she decided to share her wellness routine, and that sparked a lot of people being upset. And Tess was one of the main people that was upset by this clip. And now I disagree with both of these people, okay? So it's kind of a weird situation to be put kind of in the middle, or to put myself in the middle, more is correct. But we're going to go over this clip from the podcast, and then we'll go over what Tess had to say about the clip. So this is the original clip that Tess decided to react to.
What's your wellness routine look like now?
I eat dinner early in the evening. I do a nice intermittent fast. I usually eat something about 12. And in the morning, I'll have some things that won't spike my blood sugar, right? So I have coffee.
So it's funny because I actually do... Technically, I do intermittent fasting. I don't like to label it anything because it's so frustrating whenever you do something. Like, people want to label it so much, and I feel like intermittent fasting, I know there are probably people that are watching this that do intermittent fasting, and like, if you do it, I'm not trying to, yuck your yum or anything like that. Like, literally, I said I do it, right? But I don't label it because I just really don't eat first thing in the morning. I usually eat when I get home from the gym, which a lot of times is around 11 to 1, depending on when I woke up. And so, a lot of times I will have fasted for, 12 hours, if not more, pretty often. But I don't think it's like some huge secret. It's just, it makes it so it's easier for me to, be the calories that I want to be, but I'm just not hungry in the morning. So I don't want to force myself to eat anyways. And it works out for me, especially because I eat quite a bit at night. And so when I wake up in the morning, I'm just not hungry at all, right? And so, I don't know. The whole intermittent fasting thing, I think, has been blown out of proportion, in my opinion.
But I really like soup for lunch. I have bone broth for lunch a lot of the days. Try to do 1 hour of movement. So I'll either take a walk, or I'll do Pilates, or I'll do my Tracy Anderson.
So people were... saying like, oh, she only eats bone broth for lunch. And if that's the case, that's probably not enough. It's obviously everything that we've heard is very low, but I think one of the most common things, and I do think this is a problem, that you'll see in a lot of these like clips where people will share we've all seen it. Like, it's a huge thing on TikTok right now, right? Where it's like my morning routine, and it's like all this beautiful stuff, and I'll do this and that. And like, dog, half the stuff is BS. Half the stuff they don't do every day, or they do it every once in a while, and they make sure they have a perfect day picked out, blah, 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 right? So like, does she do this actually every single day? I don't know. Does she eat only bone broth every single day? I don't know. I mean, it's certainly possible. I absolutely wouldn't recommend that, like only eating that, but who knows? Like, it's just like, so I do think it's a problem that people will hear what someone else does and they'll think they need to do it. That's why I don't like to do that many full day of eatings. That's why I don't like to share what I'm doing, my exact workout routine, my exact eating, because I don't want people to copy me, because what I do works for me, right? And so what you should do is what you should do, not what I do, right? Like, obviously there are tips and stuff that people can share, but I don't see really much value in sharing exactly what you do at every single moment of your day, because other than just being entertaining, which if that's what you're watching it for, that's fine, right? I do think that's okay. But so many people just get so caught up in like, I need to do exactly that, when it just might not work. Like, a lot of people, intermittent fasting, I've talked about this story before. My sister-in-law found out that she was diabetic because she was doing intermittent fasting, because like her blood sugar got all messed up, and that's how she ended up finding out that she was diabetic. And so be careful if you do intermittent fasting. Make sure that you don't have any issues like that. It wasn't like it was type 2, it was like type 1. So there was no reason that she would have thought that was a problem, right?
And then I get in the sauna. I dry brush and I get in the sauna. So I do my infrared sauna for 30 minutes. And then for dinner, I try to eat.
This stuff just screams that I have a lot of money. It's just like, oh, okay. Yeah, let me get in my infrared sauna. And then the dry brushing, dude. I remember when this was first going around, so many people were commenting on my videos, and I still hear it every once in a while. Not as much as like 2018, I feel like 2017, 2018. But around those years, dude, I would get so many comments of like, you have loose skin, you need to do dry brushing. Dry brushing will fix your loose skin, blah, blah. It's like, dude, I'm telling you, if something like that actually fixed your loose skin, it wouldn't be a secret. Like, you wouldn't need to tell people about it. It would be out there. Everyone would know about it, right? Ugh.
Eat, according to paleo. So lots of vegetables. It's really important for me to support.
So if you don't know what paleo is, it's like the easiest way to explain it is like eat like the caveman. That's kind of that's how they would market it. So it's usually actually quite a bit of meat, and then a lot of vegetables, not as many grains, nuts and seeds. It's like if you've ever done CrossFit, for a long time it was very pushed in the CrossFit scene. It ends up a lot of times there's a lot of fat involved. It can work. It can be fine. It ends up being pretty low carb, higher fat, and then pretty moderate protein is what the diet it usually ends up being for most people that eat paleo, because of just the amount of fat that you get from a lot of the nuts, and then like the different like oils you might use and the butters. A lot of times people will eat like tons of like Kerrygold butter when they're on paleo, and so I don't know I mean, that's not terrible, but I don't know. It's just silly.
Support my detox.
One of the top comments, I'm not sure if it's still here. Almond Mom Final Boss. This literally sounds like a colonoscopy prep. This one right here. What is she detoxing? The bone broth? Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea. But then this is Tess Holliday's stitch. So we're going to go over this as well.
But I really like soup for lunch. I have bone broth for lunch a lot.
What I find most mental about this is that we've known for years that she is okay with glorifying her eating disorder. And I'm not judging, because I have an eating disorder. Bone broth is not a suitable meal. And then to end your day with just eating vegetables, but yet people continue to give her airtime, to give her a platform, to take her.
I just want to say that basically everything that Tess says here could be said about her. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Advice, because everyone is too afraid to be fat. I was at a big fancy Hollywood event years ago, and Gwyneth Paltrow was there, or as she had everyone refer to her as GP. And she was at a table with Rachel Zoe, and I'm not going to get too deep into Rachel Zoe, but I have my own opinions.
Let me just name drop everybody.
And it was a seated dinner, and we had a set course, a set meal. And she loudly had to let everyone know in this very tiny room with Natalie Portman, Catherine O'Hara, you name it, they were there, that her and her table, which were a handful of her close friends, as she said, that they were going to have something different. Pizza, but not just any pizza, cauliflower crust pizza with no cheese. And I'm not shading anyone that likes cauliflower pizza. Go on, do your thing. But everyone just laughed.
Cauliflower pizza, it's funny because if you look at the nutrition facts, a lot of times like those especially like the pre-made ones, they'll actually end up having more calories. I'm sure it has something to do with like how they have to get to make the cauliflower actually like stick together, right? They probably have to put fat. I don't know. I'm not an expert. There's a place called Blaze Pizza in America. They're like scattered around. But it's like similar to, there's a reason for this. It's similar to like Chipotle, where it's like build your own. So you build your own pizza. And it's funny because the cauliflower crust pizza, because they have the calories marked, is one of, if not the highest calorie crust that they have. And so I'm not saying that she was eating it because it was lower calorie. It doesn't seem, I mean, I don't think she needs lower calorie. It's just funny because a lot of times they always equate, cauliflower pizza, blah, 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 with being lower calorie. When in reality, it could have very much so been more calories in that pizza or at least in the crust and like in the pizza.
Like it was no big deal. And I'm not here to judge what people put in their bodies, especially.
I mean, come on. It seems like you absolutely are, and it's okay if you are. But like, come on, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Let's be real.
Especially as someone that has a restrictive eating disorder, and I get mocked all the time because I'm fat. So how dare I talk about not feeding my body, right? But this shit isn't normal, and it's affecting a whole other generation of young folks who think that eating like GP is appropriate, is okay. And I'm not saying that I have all the answers.
I mean, obviously, yeah, you don't, clearly.
And I have it figured out, because I sure the hell don't. But with all the talk about Ozempic and all these other weight loss drugs, it's exhausting.
Wait.
These other weight loss drugs.
On the top. She said Ozempic, but it said Islamic. Oh man, that's funny. Sorry. But I think it's frustrating because now it's like, it's clear that she has this like almost vitriol to people that are trying to lose weight and, you know, trying to maybe using Ozempic or semaglutide, any of those drugs to help aid in their weight loss, or they decide to get weight loss surgery. It's like, it's just frustrating because it's like this movement has turned from I want to accept my body to if someone is they themselves working on their body. And again, in your words, you don't know what that person's going through. You don't know what health issues they might have. You don't know why they might decide to lose the weight, right? Why they need to do that, or even if they just want to do it. You don't know why. But then to make people feel bad for doing that is just so frustrating to me. Like, I really can't stand that.
Drugs, it's exhausting. It is okay to feed your body. Carbs are not the devil.
It's also okay to like be in a deficit and try to lose weight. This is the stuff that's frustrating. It's like either you're feeding your body or you're starving yourself, and you are like damaging everything. It's just ridiculous. It's like there's no middle ground. It's like, yeah, of course it's okay to feed your body. You don't need to be freaking starving yourself, but it's also okay to not, listen to every single craving that you have and just honor every single little craving. It's like, dude, it's okay to be in the middle and be like, yeah, like, would I like to have cake today? Maybe, but like, do I need it? Probably not. That's not like you doing some terrible evil deed to your body. It's you understanding the consequences of what that means. And so you can decide, do I think that it's worth it today? If the answer is no, okay. If the answer is yes, okay. That's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Fat isn't bad, and I mean fat in your food and fat on your body.
I would agree to an extent, right? I think that not being completely shredded is totally okay. I would say it's probably more healthy than being shredded. I won't even say probably. It is, right? But having excess is not good, and then being too shredded is not good. Like, there's a middle ground here, and I don't think the middle ground is like some tiny sliver of people. I think there's there's a large middle ground, but there's certainly, once you get to the edges, it's no longer too small, too large. That's not healthy. That's not okay. Like, those are going to come with consequences, whether it's right now or in 10 years. Those things, those bills are going to be paid, right? The people are going to come knocking on the door.
It's not bad, but hey, anything for $1.
Anything for the cost of people's mental health was how she ended that. But she actually ended up doing another TikTok that she, I think, deleted. I couldn't find it on her page, but I was able to get a clip of it where someone was kind of talking about themselves using weight loss drugs, and she had a response to that. So we'll go into that next. This is the comment that she's responding to, and it says, "I've adored you since I started plus size pinup in 2014, and I feel this 100%. And as exhausting as GLP-1 medication is, it's saving some of our lives." So she's talking about like weight loss medication.
I wanted to apologize for not being maybe clear on this in my video, but obviously the medication being used for what its intended purposes is absolutely fine with me. I want people to have their medication, and I want people to know that.
So basically, it seems like she's kind of talking about like this might be someone that's struggling with diabetes, and so that's what the drug was first, created for, and now it's being used for people trying to lose weight. I don't think there's anything, in my opinion, inherently wrong with using the drug to lose weight. What I do think is just important is that if you are going to decide to do that, just weigh all the, the pros and the cons, because there are cons with any medication, right? There are going to be side effects. Weigh all that stuff out. Obviously, it's not free. Hopefully, you can find ways to make it cheaper, but I don't think it's free for anybody, but I could be wrong. I don't know. But usually, it's not free. So you're going to have to pay for it. And understand there are going to be consequences of it. And for a lot of people, it's a chronic thing, right? So it's something you stay on for a long time, just like with, blood pressure medication or all of these other things. You can improve it, but usually doctors would recommend that you stay on it until you get to a point where it's definitely not needed, right? You're going to be taking it for a long time. So those are all things that you should weigh out. But again, that's going to be at a person by person basis, and you decide what's best for you, right?
Because of celebrities like this taking advantage of a drug and using it in a way that it wasn't intended, it's causing real harm to people like this that need their medication and can't get it. So I'm not judging anyone who takes this medication. Hell, I'm not even judging you if you want to use it to lose weight. It's your body.
I'm not sure if I believe that. Like, I think that's just saying that because from the actions that she's shown in countless other ways, like, she absolutely is judging people for using it just to lose weight, right? Like 100%, in my opinion.
It's just when people that have huge platforms overuse and abuse and glamorize things like this.
Who does that sound like? Who's someone that has a huge platform that over glamorizes things and makes, being unhealthy completely okay, and like it says that everyone should be the same and that you shouldn't lose weight and you should be okay with how you are. I wonder who that is.
That cause real harm because there's a massive trickle-down effect whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah. There is. That's my opinion on the whole matter. I just thought it was interesting because these two people that I just don't really agree with. And it's interesting seeing it's not like they're going back and forth, but seeing one person be upset with what the other person's saying. And it's funny because I don't even agree with what Gwyneth is saying, but I definitely don't agree with what Tess is saying either. And it's just funny because I really feel like both of these people, with Gwyneth, it feels like, this is just my opinion, okay, so I'm just spitballing, but it feels like she is so off in La La Land. She's been a celebrity for so long and is just in this other realm where it's like she really thinks that she's helping people, and like that's a problem. Like it really, really is. But then with Tess, I get this other sense of like she knows what she's doing, and it's all about optics, and it's all about trying to cultivate this persona. Right. And so I don't know. I'm not a fan of both of them is basically what I'm trying to say. But I just wanted to share that. I thought it was interesting. I would love to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.